Pastor Jason. Welcome to First United Methodist Church. We are so excited to have you here. Are you comfortable if we take a few minutes just to get to know you a little better?
Sure,
Awesome.
I'd like to.
So I know that you've served in several churches before you've come here. What is the most relevant lesson you've had or something that's really stuck with you over the years that brings you to how you lead now?
Well, one of the things I always think it's important to celebrate and to take a lot of initiative and learning about and hearing from is part of the history of the church and the congregations and the impact that they've made in the community and throughout the world over the years. And so as to appreciate that history that it's coming from, but from that history we learn and begin to lean into the future. What does that mean, and how is there a bridge between the modern day, current day where we are, and the history of the past in the congregation, and where does it take us into the future? Now sometimes you don't know necessarily where the bridge is going to go, but you also have to hear that those stories of the past that have been good things that have happened in the life of the congregation, that we can maybe build on that into the future in a different way.
You have a beautiful dog named Rosie. What has Rosie taught you about living and life?
So Rosie's my 4-year-old golden retriever. One thing I'm always amazed about is every day Rosie wakes up. This morning it was about 6 o'clock, and she was ready to eat, and she goes into the kitchen and she does the, oh my goodness, I'm going to get some food now dance, although it's the same food she had yesterday and the day before and the day before that, and probably the same food she'll have tomorrow. And she gets so very excited over the most mundane things. And the other thing is, and I don't know if other folks who have pets are this way, but the more of a hurry I get into getting from the house or to try to leave to get somewhere, the slower the dog seems to go. When I'm in a hurry, she constantly just goes slower, it seems like. And so that has to remind me that to not get in a hurry for myself, and for just to take the time that needed to do to go through the process.
So gardening, I have seen on Facebook your beautiful hydrangeas and your passion for gardening. What has gardening taught you about life?
Gardening is good because it does, just gives us time to remember. Sometimes if you go and a plant has a bulb on it and a bloom, and you want to see what that bloom is, you can't just reach your hand in and pull the bloom apart to see what the flower is going to look like, because you've destroyed everything that's there. So sometimes it is a great teacher of patience. I've got a little placard I've used in some of my gardens before, and it says, "Flowers feed the soul." And sometimes it does, because it reminds us of what God can do and what God created and around. And so it's pretty amazing that a daffodil bulb that's stuck in the ground that looks like it's about dried up and dead will come up with this beautiful yellow flower in the spring, even in the cold and the snow, and it just kind of shoots through. And I remember one of my professors was Dr. Bobby McLean at Wesley, and he was talking about preaching, and he said the reason that he gardened was that if he got good plants and put them in good dirt and added a little bit of water to them, that he always had something that would bloom and would be really nice in the world. He said sermons, you're not sure what's going to happen with them. And so flowers sometimes are a little bit more of a standard and kind of a process, and it's a reminder of kind of some consistency, attention, a little bit of effort to try to nurture and sustain, and it's part of a technique that's used throughout Scripture as Jesus taught people around him and used those illustrations. So for 2,000 years and longer, people have been relating to the gardening and part of a life of faith and how that's nurtured and sustained and grows. So take that sometimes, plus the garden's just kind of quiet sometimes after a long day.
So to tie gardening into being a United Methodist, and there were some great references in there about leading and taking the step back and cultivating. How does being a United Methodist work with how you want to lead the congregation?
Really grateful for the work of the General Conference in 2024 to make sure that United Methodism is a church that's inclusive, that's open to all people, and that makes a difference. And part of that helps us be better preach, show, give, offer part of the grace that makes United Methodist a the unique factor of United Methodism in our culture and in denominational life of Christianity is our understanding of grace, and how grace comes really in those three stages of grace: the prevenient grace, that God's active in our life even before we realize that God is around, even before we realize God is needed in our lives. God is already present in our lives, and as we begin to recognize that grace and it grows in our lives, we understand the justifying grace that Christ is alone for us and justifies us before God, covers up our shortcoming, our sin, our finitude, and we're enabled through this grace to become more of who we're created to be, and that we're perfected, that we go on into sanctification. And so that makes a difference when you understand life, and that it's a constant growing process, much like the garden. Our life is kind of tended to, and grace helps us do that in a way that's more reflective of who God is as we understand God. Not that we're always going to get it right every time, but that it continues to grow a bit by bit in our lives. I've really appreciated getting to know Salisbury and how interconnected the community is one to another. The congregations, I'll get to know the other pastors around, and have appreciated the community agencies that I've already seen or experienced. Rowan Helping Ministries, we've done some meals there already and provided food, and we've done collections for the Hanford Old School.
So I have an important question for Pastor Jason. Do you like Cheerwine?
I do like Cheerwine. It's good. I've enjoyed a few Cheerwines lately, but it's one of the ones I always get, especially sometimes in Greensboro when I'd go to Yum Yum's, get one of the classic Yum Yum hot dog. Cheerwine always just seemed to go perfect with it.
So can I convince you to drink a Cheerwine on camera?
Well, I guess, as long as it's still fresh, right? That's good.